8.4, we will continue to talk about special kinds of lines. The next kind of line we're going to talk about is the slope of a line. The slope of a line is the ratio of the line's vertical change, going up and down, called the rise, to its horizontal change, called the run. So first we'll try to find slope from some information. A wakeboard ramp has a rise of 6 feet and a run of 10 feet. What that means is it is 6 feet high and it is 10 feet along the ground. We want to find its slope right here. We want to find out what that is. So we put it into our slope formula, rise over run. The rise was 6 feet. The run was 10 feet. So the slope of the ramp is going to be 3/5 or 3 over 5. Now there are different types of slopes. We're going to do this the same as our rules that I've used lots of times in math, reading from left to right. So here I am, I'm walking along left to right, and I hit this slope. That's going to be called a positive slope. The slope is rising. I need to climb up. Again, walking from the left side of my screen to the right side, I come to this slope. I must be coming down this slope. Okay, from left to right, I come down. That's going to be called a negative slope. Now, if I'm coming left to right and the line is just horizontal, it is not a hill at all, and I'm just walking at a 0 slope. If I would come up on a slope like this really is not a slope. I can't climb it. I can't climb going up or down. I would simply fall in midair. That's called an undefined slope. There'd be 0, nothing there. A slope does not exist. So, slope of the line again, the rise of the run. The next type of slopes we're going to find is when we're given 2 points on a non-vertical line and asked to find the slope. Again, we will continue to use the same formula, rise over run, but we're going to find that from the difference between the y coordinates and the difference of the x coordinates. Now the y coordinates are the ones that go up and down, and that's what we said were the rise. The run coordinates are the ones that go from left to right. That's what we call the run. So if I was going to look for the slope of a line that's formed by two separate points, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these points on the line. My first point is going to be 4, 5. So I went over 4 and up 5. My next point is going to be 1, 2. So I'm going to go over 1 and up 2. So this is the line that we are given that we are going to find the slope of. Okay, so just talking in graphing terms, no story problem here. They just showed us this graph. And they said, tell me the slope of this line. Now the first thing you should notice is this is a positive slope. Walking from left to right, I'm going to climb, so it's a positive slope. Now the next thing that we want to look at is where our points are. So this point here, as I said, was at 4. I read going across first, and then I came up 5. All right, this point here would be 1, came over 1, and I ran up 2. Okay, so the rise is going to be the difference between my 2 points going up and down. I'm going to go to the highest point here, which is this one, and I'm going to look at my rise, which is the second letter there, or I'm sorry, the second number. Another way to remember this is that my rise is going to be the difference between the y coordinates, and my run is going to be the difference between my x coordinates. So my y in this point is 5 and 2. So 5 minus 2. Difference means subtract. The next one I'm going to do is 4 is my x point, or my x coordinate. 1 is my x coordinate here, So 4 minus 1. That means that my slope is a 3 for the rise over 3 for the run. We can go ahead and simplify that fraction into 1. The slope is 1. What that means is that for every point on the graph, I will rise 1 and run 1, rise 1 and run 1. And if I continue to move my, or to expand my line here, you're going to see that if I stay in those points, it holds true for every point on the line. Again, I could start here, rise 1 over 1, rise 1 over 1, rise 1 over 1. Okay? I could also have done it from my improper fraction there, 3 and 3. I could rise 3 and run 3, and rise 1, 2, 3, and run 3. But we always simplify our slope, so it would be 1 over 1 or 1. All right, let's try another one. And let me put the points on here again. So the point for this one is going to be, our first point is going to be 0, 1. So I start at the origin. 0 means I don't move left to right. Just going to go up 1. And my next point is going to be 3, negative 3. So I'm going to start at the origin, go over 3, but I'm going to go down 3 this time. All right, let's go ahead and label these so we don't have to keep counting them. This point again didn't go left or right, so it's 0, but went up 1. So the x is 0, the y is 1. This one here, I went over 3 on my x-axis, going over first, and it was positive, but then I went down 3. So my y-coordinate is going to be a negative 3. All right, so now again, we're going to try to find the slope. And if I go ahead and connect my dots with my line, we're going to see this slope again. It's always good to kind of check this. It helps you with your math and your, especially integer math. So there is my line, and my line can expand forever and ever and ever. Has lots of points on it. That means lots of solutions. Straighten that out just a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so again, I'm going to find the difference between my y coordinates and my x coordinates. But as I'm walking left to right here, I'm going to notice I have to come down this slope. So it's going to be a negative slope. So when it's a negative slope, I'm going to start at my lowest point first. So I'm going to go to my y coordinate, which was a negative 3. Negative 3, again, we're doing our difference, so I'm going to subtract 1. Be careful with those integer signs. So a negative 3, negative 1, you can do plus or add the opposite, would give you a negative 4 for my rise. Again, I'm going to do my run this time, and my run is going to be that I am going to look at the x coordinate. That would be 3. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, 3 here. And then I'm going to go to this one, and that's 0. So 3 minus 0 is 3. Now, let's go ahead and make a triangle here between our points. So our running points are going to, oh, sorry about that. Our running points are going to go in this direction. So let's start moving, not those things, let's start moving my running. So I was running this way, okay? Oops, I had my rise, didn't I there? So sorry. I was rising, but since this is a negative one, I'm actually going down. So I didn't rise positively, I'm going down. Because again, it's a negative slope. Here's my run. I got my colors mixed up there. So my run here is going to be how I go from left to right. So I'm going to connect my rise, which is actually falling, to my run this way. So you can see it makes a right triangle every time I do this. And that goes back to the wakeboarders ramp. We had a right triangle here as well. So if you see the triangle here, I'm going to try to figure out then that connecting point, right? Again, this one's a negative 4/3. Now in this case, even though that's an improper fraction, I am not going to reduce it because when I am talking about a slope, I am talking about rise over run. So I want to have it in a fraction form. Negative 4/3 would be my slope for this particular line made out of these points. I'm going to pause this because I think it's going to have to be a two-parter.